This guy goes, honestly, I think, okay, so this person replies, did you know you're killing yourself? And then the person comes back and says, no, I'm stuck in the 30s when people thought they were actually healthy. And then a guy responds and says, they actually are healthy. If you consume something 20 to 120 times a day, every single day for half a century or more before it kills you, that's healthy in my book.
You know what? That is technically not true.
No, it's not, because a lot of people died from it.
Yeah, and also, like, what do you mean if you consume something? Like, if you have 20 sips of water a day, you're good. Well, probably more than that. But what do you if you consume something 20 times a day and you don't die for 50 years? That means it's good for you.
Yeah, it's healthy. I think he overplayed his hand by saying healthy. He could have said it's it's neutral. It's a neutral thing. It's like,
but I don't think you can even, all jokes, I don't think you can even say that.
You
I think
cannot
there is a lot of.
It is plainly bad for you. There is no way. Even just taking aside what we know, right?
Yeah.
Like, even like if we're going back to like 1948 and like you're a doctor or whatever, there's what world could you live in where inhaling smoke, keeping it in your lungs, and then expelling it multiple times a day is not bad for you in even a small way?
It doesn't make sense at all. Like,
it doesn't even matter what you're inhaling. If you're inhaling any kind of smoke, really.
Smoke is medicine, though. Actually, that's something that you're not considering, though. Smoke can be medicine, but only if it's ganja.
Well, and then this guy goes, American culture. If you smoke, you're a pariah, but if you smoke weed constantly to the point of brain cell loss, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that they're both bad. The smoking element of it. I think that what some people say is that marijuana has different, positive aspects to smoking, but they're both unhealthy. I think that's agreed upon. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about it's just interesting that just as a white person, not to quote Bryan or anything, but as a white person, it's just interesting that like they killed off a lot of our cigarette smoking guys like Humphrey Bogart and Johnny Cash. And yet a lot of rappers who smoke weed are allowed to be alive still. And in fact, are much younger than like Humphrey Bogart. And they haven't killed a lot of them off yet. And it's just I find it interesting that weed is basically accepted now, but if you smoke cigarettes, you're basically on par with, I don't know, the worst thing that you could possibly be.
Well, listen to this cigarette guy. He goes, I'm Gen X, and while I welcome weed becoming normalized, how can a plant be illegal? He says, I don't like how it's seen as totally harmless. I also hate it when people reek of it. This is a smoker saying
this. Is a smoke. Nobody's reeking of weed. Somebody reeks of weed if they have weed on them. Like if you just smoke weed, maybe you smell like weed, but you're not like. These days, people are not like reeking of weed everywhere.
This guy says, it makes me physically ill. I get a buzz off it that I didn't ask for.
Oh, hello, contact high alert.
I've also noticed people making it a part of their personality, too. That said, it's far less harmful than alcohol, which leads me to another rant. Alcohol is allowed to be advertised on TV, but tobacco isn't. It's akin to advertising heroin.
Nope.
I'd love to see it.
No.
No. Not. Nope. It is not akin to that.
No. Yeah, it's
definitely cigarettes are closer to that than alcohol is.
It's tough because a lot of people that don't smoke know that you don't get a buzz after a while from nicotine, that it's a maintenance thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but they're always like, why would you smoke this even if it doesn't get you high? And I'm like, well, because it still feels good, technically.
It feels good, but it staves off feeling bad. Like for street fight or guys listeners that don't understand what smoking is. Think of how like Brian's orgy thing is. Like he doesn't go because he has fun at them anymore. He goes for maintenance.